What's up, everybody? Cody Bidlow with sprintingworkouts.com and ATHLETE.X coming at you with another video. I think that sometimes we might get a little bit too specific with our training. We might get a little bit too neurotic about what intensities we're operating at. And I think it's important that you consider sometimes you want to run a little bit slower at practice. Now, obviously, we want to build our sprint training programs around fast sprinting. We want to be doing acceleration, speed development, speed endurance, and we want to be doing that at 95, 98, 100% effort. But not every day can we run that fast. This week on Monday, I did acceleration, and I noticed that my adductor was sort of tightening up on me, so I cut the workout and said, okay, I'll let that heal up. It's not like I got injured, but I could just feel that it was not very happy with me, So I shut the workout down. The next day I went to the gym, which was yesterday. I did a bunch of different jumps, like some drop jumps, some box jumps, in-place hops, and some power cleans up to just a moderate load. Didn't go very heavy. And so today I didn't want to do nothing because I find that if I do nothing, I tend to feel worse. I get more stiff, and I don't know. There's some days where I take full days off, but if I take too many days off, I feel worse. So then I asked myself, well, what can you do? Well, you can run as fast as you feel is safe for the day. Now, I didn't know what that was going to be when I showed up, but as I warmed up, I felt pretty good. So I thought, all right, I'm going to run some 90s. I'm going to do them. I will start out kind of slow, like 70%, and then I'll build up throughout the workout. I'll build up to a speed that is the fastest I feel is completely safe for the workout, and I'll cut it off there. I did pretty short rest. I started with 3 minutes, then went up to 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and by the end of the workout, I think the last rep, I had about a 7-minute break between the runs. So as I got faster, I increased the rest period to allow for good recovery, but I made sure that I was keeping the recovery short enough to where I felt like my lungs were working. I was getting kind of an aerobic workout out of it, but the speeds that I was running were fast enough to still be sprinting. I was sprinting probably at like a 400-meter pace. Now, there's benefits, I believe that there's benefits from running in that middle zone. Charlie Francis, he was very militant about preaching the idea that you don't want to run between 75 and 95% effort. You either want to run faster than 95% or slower than 75%. I think as a general rule, that's not a terrible idea. I think that's a pretty good way to build a program. But I'm not doing the typical 3 days of sprinting and then 3 tempo days every week with 6 days of running. I don't think I can really handle 6 days of running over the long term, so I sprint less often. But if I'm sprinting less often, I'm getting less exposure to, the technique of sprinting, managing your posture, ground contacts. So I find that for me, having some days where I'm in that middle zone between 75 and 95% effort is actually beneficial because it allows me to run fast enough to feel the rhythms, postures, ground contact mechanics, and overall technique of sprinting, say running at 90% effort. It's close enough and relevant enough to sprinting that I am sprinting, but it's not fast enough to aggravate the adductor issue I have going on, or to make me feel like by the end of the workout I'm just completely dead, So for you guys, I would suggest considering that, sometimes you might want to have some workouts in that middle zone where you're staying relaxed, but you're running fast enough to where, you're not running slow, you're still sprinting, but it's not completely all out. It's a moderate intensity relative to our typical sprint days. And what are you going to get out of this? Well, you're going to get more steps in, and each step is like a mini plyometric, or not even a mini plyometric, it is a plyometric activity to sprint. So you're getting more steps in, you're exposing your tendons and your muscles to more plyometric activities by sprinting, but because you're not sprinting at 100% effort, the tension is not extremely high, so you're less likely to get hurt. Being that the intensities are not maximal, you're not going to fry your neurotransmitters. Last night I got terrible sleep, and so I feel kind of tired today. My brain's not working that well, but it was able to handle this workout very easily. My lungs were burning, my heart was definitely pumping, but I didn't feel like my body was being broken down by the workout. I didn't feel like I was, doing something that my body did not want to do. my body was happy with doing this workout. And if I had done nothing today and just, sat on my butt all day, well, what would I get out of that, right? Probably not that much. I might recover, but if I'm not going to train tomorrow because it's Thanksgiving, then I'm going to have multiple days of no training. That's training time I'm not going to get back. So I still wanted to do something. And that's where this middle zone of intensity can be useful for you. You can use it on days where you don't feel like you can sprint 100% effort, but you're not so fatigued and you're not so, burnt out that you need to just take a complete rest day. Now, could I have done, 70% effort for the whole workout? I could have, but that's less specific to sprinting than 90%. And I think the whole argument that going between 75 and 95% being completely irrelevant to sprinting, I don't buy that argument anymore. I used to trust in that and believe that, but over time, I've found that that's just not necessarily a hard and fast rule you have to follow. That might be something you have to follow if you do want to do the full Charlie Francis training program of 6 days of running a week, 3 of those being really fast and 3 of those being slow. But for me, I'm only running 3 times a week, maybe at most 4 times a week. So if I'm going to have gaps between, my high intensity days and my lifting days, my jumping days and all that, I don't want to just do nothing, but I don't want to run so slow that I feel like I'm getting nothing out of the workout. So that's where this type of workout comes in handy. What did I do? I did 7 by 90 meters. I started out at probably 70%, and then I increased the intensity each rep until I couldn't run any faster by the end of the workout. Or at least I could have run faster, but I didn't want to run any faster because I felt like that would put me in a dangerous area with how my adductor is doing. It didn't hurt today. It didn't flare up at all, but I'm just trying to be careful. I don't want to, overstress it. So I ran as fast as I felt was safe. And I think that can be a good thing to do on your sort of off days where it's not a true 100% effort sprinting day. You don't have to just limit yourself on those days to running 70% or 75% or slower. Just run as fast as you feel is safe for that day. And if you do that, you're still going to get exposure to the steps. You're going to get a good amount of meters in. You're going to be working on the skills that are relevant to sprinting, albeit in a less specific way. But I don't think it's so non-specific that it's irrelevant. You're still sprinting. You're just not sprinting at 100% effort. So consider adding workouts like this into your program on days where you're not too keen on running 100%, but you don't want to just do nothing. That's where you can start out at 70%, build the intensity throughout the workout, get to a point where you feel like, okay, this is kind of my maximum safe intensity for the day. And you do that. You do a little bit shorter rest periods than normal, so you get a little bit of aerobic work, a little cardiovascular work going on. And I think by doing that, over time, you can get a lot of benefits from that. Had I come out and done, I don't know how many steps I took, but let's say I took 40 steps per sprint or 45 steps per sprint or whatever. Well, each of those is a plyometric activity. Each of those is going to be training my tendons, my muscles. It's going to be training my brain. I'm working my posture. Everything's getting worked, but it's not getting worked to the point that my body starts to break down, that I feel like I'm risking injury or anything like that. And I've heard coaches talk about this where they have athletes who they throw fast sprinting at them all the time and they get worse, even though they're really good, really fast athletes. Sometimes I think people need something that is slightly slower, but we don't have to just stick to 75% or slower on slow days. We can be in the middle zone and get benefit out of that as long as it fits within the program. Obviously, if you're going to come out and you're going to try to sprint tomorrow, you probably wouldn't want to run 90% today. That's where you'd want to stay below 75%. But if you're not going to run for a couple days, then a workout at 90% effort is just fine in my opinion. So don't feel like you're constrained to these intensities that are sort of arbitrary in my opinion. Allow yourself to run as fast as is safe on any given day. And if you kind of stick to that as, how you build your workouts, then on days where you feel great, you can run fast and you can have a great workout. And on days where you don't feel 100%, you can run them a little slower, but still be working the postures, the technique, rhythms, ground contacts, all that of sprinting and benefit from that in the long run. You know, if you were to imagine that you train for a whole year, but all you ever do is fast sprinting, well, how many sessions could you really get in? Probably not as many compared to if you did some days all out and some days between 70 and 90%, you know? So just keep in mind that you're allowed to do whatever you want, first of all. Second of all, you should do whatever feels good and feels appropriate based on your state of physical readiness on any given day. That may be, nothing. That may be you need to take a day off. But you may be able to do something like this workout, 7x90, between 70 and 90% effort. And I think if we're able to fit in more training over time without risking injury and without fatiguing ourselves to any, extreme level, I think we can benefit from that. And over time, the more that we get that in, the better off we're going to be later in the season when we really don't have that many opportunities to train because we're trying to prep for a meet or whatever. If you've built up that training volume by having some days that are slightly slower, I think that'll pay off in the long run. So maybe I'm off base, maybe you think I'm full of it, but if you do, let me know in the comments. If you feel like you benefit from running 80%, 90% on some days, let me know as well. But just keep in mind that you don't have to stick to these preconceived notions about you have to always run at this intensity or you can't ever run at this other intensity. You have freedom to choose what fits best, and to be the best athlete that you can be, you have to work with where you're at on any given day. And you can... Damn, homie. That car sounds terrible. Work with where you're at on any given day, Don't force a workout. If you feel like you can't run 100% effort, don't try to run 100% effort unless, I don't know, maybe there's a situation where that would make sense, but typically you only want to run fast on days where you feel like it's safe to run fast. On other days, do workouts that are at a lower intensity, but don't stress out about having the perfect intensity or the perfect workout. Just do what makes sense based on your state of physical readiness, and in the long run, if that's what you do over time, you're going to be better off for it. So hopefully this is something that can be useful to you guys. Hopefully this information hits home, but that's all I got for you now, so I'm going to sign off. But I'll catch you guys next time. This is Cody Bidlow of sprintingworkouts.com. I'll catch you later.